Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Zach is Cinema. Welcome home, everybody. If you have nobody to talk to about movies, well, buddy, guess what? You don't have that problem anymore, so you can just say thank you right now, because that is exactly what Zach is Cinema is here for, so please consider joining here. But today is going to be a little bit different of a video. I'm honestly not even sure what I'm going to title it here, really the structure of it. I just kind of feel like talking more about Scream 7, Spyglass, the mess of production, and how Spyglass really kind of set this franchise on fire. Not to be dramatic or anything, but just I feel like I need to get my frustrations out a little bit and my disappointment with this newer trilogy of Scream movies, and especially how Spyglass really handled this situation and what it resulted into, which, spoilers for my ranking video, Scream 7 is easily the worst Scream movie. Let's just get into it here. Let's rant together. Let's let out our frustrations so we can all move on together, because 2026 is just getting started. And my God, I hope there's better movies and better franchise movies. So I guess my main point of this video is just kind of ranting on Spyglass a bit. And I feel like after Scream 5 or Scream 2022 and Scream 6, I feel like this franchise kind of had this clear new direction centered around Sam and Tara. I have my thoughts and opinions on Scream 6. I'm not the biggest fan of that movie, but I at least appreciated how they were really leaning into Sam's darker tendencies with being the daughter of Billy Loomis. And I'm like, oh wow, this is actually quite interesting. We might get a Scream movie where we get to see the descent of somebody so attached to the situation of this franchise become one of the Ghostface killers, betraying all of her friends and group of friends that we spent these movies with. And I'm like, that is very interesting. They kind of fumbled it a little with Scream 6, but still I'm like, okay, let's just get to Scream 7. Let's see how this wraps up. If they go that darker way, stick the landing, and are not afraid to go so dark with it, this could be really exciting, really interesting here. And I was just so disappointed when Spyglass fired Melissa Barrera, Jenna Ortega drops out, Radio Silence drops out, and especially for the Melissa Barrera stuff, I mean, not to get political here, but Jesus Christ, there's people working in Hollywood today that have done significantly worse, said significantly worse things, and still have roles to this day. I mean, I love Brad Pitt as an actor, but let's not sit here and act like he is this wholesome father figure, this wonderful man in real life people should look up to. But God damn it, that man can act, and so can Melissa Barrera, believe it or not. And just completely just no discussion with her, like instead of standing with their lead here or just resolving it separately and just, being like, hey, like, maybe when you're filming these movies, keep that shit to yourself. And, if she wanted to drop out, that's fine. But to just fire her and then the studio just kind of panics and course corrects, it wasn't a creative decision to make Scream 7. It was just kind of corporate damage control. And that's exactly what I'd label Scream 7 as: corporate damage control, the movie number 7. And let's be real here. Scream 5 and Scream 6 weren't perfect. I'm a bigger fan of Scream 5 and feel like I'm a huge defender of that movie, but they were building towards something. It had a sense of direction. It felt like one of these modern franchises that were at least taking its time and knew its end point that it wanted to get to and didn't fumble and shit all over itself like Disney did with Star Wars. Like, there was a sense of direction here. We had Sam's darker arc, legacy trauma versus identity, and what it means to inherent violence. I mean, some pretty interesting themes and ideas here for a basic slasher movie. And Scream 7 here doesn't just pause that story. It feels like it just kind of erased it. There's no Sam, no Tara, no closure, and no acknowledgement. It makes the last two movies just feel like nothing to me, and I hope I'm not the only one that kind of feels like that. And I feel like undoing Sydney's happy ending and her completed arc was a huge mistake here. I mean, I love seeing Neve Campbell in Scream 7, who doesn't, but I kind of didn't even mind in Scream 6. Neve Campbell doesn't show up, and you just get that one or two lines explaining she has her happy ending, she's not coming here, she's protecting her family, and she deserves her happy ending. That beautiful line delivered by Gale Weathers, and I was fine with that. I'm like, okay, that works for me. We're clearly setting up a new group, a new two main leads here to carry on the franchise, or at least this main trilogy. That's okay with me. It doesn't need to be deeper than that. And dragging Sidney Prescott back here isn't really brave or bold. Again, it just kind of feels lazy, and it doesn't do a whole lot to expand her story. I mean, it's cool seeing her as this mother struggling with parenting after everything that happened, but this movie, Scream 7, just kind of reopens wounds just to have content. Like, it doesn't really progress it in a meaningful way. Again, it's just so frustrating because to me, Scream 5 was really great. Scream 6, not that good, but at least a fine Scream movie. Just for them to kind of throw that all away, not even like take a second to be like, okay, guys, can we just like put away our personal thoughts and feelings here and maybe try to work something out for the interest in delivering on what we just set up and what people were invested and interested in. So when I get to Scream 7, it just feels like there's no reason for this movie to exist other than the studio was guaranteed 3 movies and had to make this third movie. I mean, I feel like I'm going through a crisis here, a middle-aged crisis or something, because I'm at that point where luckily I haven't seen a lot of my franchises or grown up with a lot of my franchises fumbling the bag so hard here besides Star Wars. That's the one that really stands out to me, and I lived through that, and now I'm kind of living through it with Scream here. And it's just so frustrating because even despite all that, it feels like they didn't even really try with Scream 7. I mean, it doesn't have any commentary on fandom. It doesn't evolve the genre. It doesn't honor or try to do something with that new trilogy. It doesn't really do anything that new or interesting with the legacy characters. And it just feels like Spyglass needed to put out a product after blowing up their own trilogy. And that just kind of leaves me with Scream 7 isn't like offensively bad or unwatchable. It's offensive because it chooses the safest route over its storytelling and creative visions that it had going for it. It throws away a completed arc, a rising new one, and the franchise's just kind of identity and what made it very special. Also, the studio could just avoid accountability almost. It wasn't bringing Scream back to its roots like all the trailers and marketing made it seem like. It felt like panic filmmaking to me, and it's just so frustrating seeing the rollout to this movie. I mean, joining up with Meta AI, and the movie has commentary about how AI is bad. It doesn't get much deeper than that, but teaming up with them, firing the actresses and the directors, getting out of there, it's just like I couldn't imagine Wes Craven seeing this movie here. But that's really it. I just kind of wanted to rant on that just a little bit because I didn't want to spend my whole Scream 7 review just kind of focusing on some of those points here. So I'm not the only one that kind of relates to this or feels this way. I mean, again, it's not offensively bad, but I feel like it's so mediocre that that's what kind of makes me feel even worse about the movie. And I'm not one of those people where if you have one bad sequel, it ruins the franchise for me. I will always love Scream. I will love the majority of these movies until the day I die, and will continue doing so. But just kind of wanted to rant a little bit, have a fun little sit-down conversation. So I hope you enjoyed that. Please let me know here, of course, your thoughts and feelings on Scream 7. Go into detail about the Spyglass, Melissa Barrera situation. What's your thoughts and feelings on this? And I'd be kind of interested to hear if you were given the director and writing spot for Scream 7 and given these awful hands to deal with, what would you have done in that situation? How could you have made this movie a little bit better? Curious to hear that because I have no idea. I just know that this was not the right answer. So that's about it here. I appreciate anybody watching my videos. It means so much to me. So thanks again. And yeah, look forward to more Zach Cinema coming very soon.